School with Fari. Go off. Go off. Go off.
Peace, 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 everyone. On this early morning, it's 10:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Coming to y'all. I don't normally do these on Fridays like this. I have set days, but I've been kind of, in the midst of doing research and just kind of studying certain different things and talking to different people about situations that's happening right now in this world. And today's topic is supposed to be about the coronavirus, the COVID-19, as well as esoteric sciences with Seven Shabazz. But I want to talk briefly about this coronavirus pandemic that's going on right now around the world. I'm going to bring Seven Shabazz on. We had a brief conversation about this yesterday. Well, not brief, really. It was about an hour and a half long, almost 2 hours long, that we went in about this whole topic yesterday. But I ended up deleting that video and so forth, just so I can go over it and, correct my wrongs and, all that stuff like that, so I can make it right, and did a little bit of research on some things, because there were some things I just did not have no clue about what they were talking about, because really I honestly didn't care at that time about what anyone was talking about. All I cared at that moment of time about was, my finances, how they are being affected, and how certain people in my family have been affected health wise with it. That's all I really cared about. But then I learned some other things that I want to talk about once y'all, start tuning in and everything. But I'm going to bring Seven Shabazz on. And 1 second. Welcome, Seven Shabazz. It's early over there in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Y'all got an hour behind us. While United States is like 7 hours behind Africa.
Right.
We like Africa in some places, in some parts of the United States are like 8 hours behind Africa. So that's crazy. But yes. How's your day been going so far?
Oh yeah. I was up getting some stuff together this morning pertaining to what we was all on there talking about yesterday, grabbing some stuff up, but like my stuff going more into like the politics and the economics, because I can go into some detail about, communism and the ideology and the foundations of communism and where it comes from and what it's evolved into and to how they're using it over there. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much what I got together this morning.
The communism part, huh?
Oh yeah. Not just it. Well, I'm touching down on I got this too. I brought out this like a college textbook for U.S. economics. It talks about communism inside of here, and
right.
It's just it's just comparing it, but what they using it for over there is not exactly the foundational ideas of communism. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that stuff was developed over there around in Germany with Karl Marx. And I just that's pretty much what I got together right here. You know what I'm saying? I got some of my old notes on communism. You know what I'm saying? Like what laid the foundation was that communist it was a communist manifesto by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels. And it was like the first statement principles of modern communism. Now Karl Marx is supposed to be one of them Ashkenazi German Jews, but I don't think he was a Jew by religious practice. He was just a Jew by nationality. You know what I'm saying? Coming from over there in the Caucasus Mountains or wherever, around Russia. You know
his name is Karl Marx.
Yeah. Yeah, Karl Marx, and he laid the foundations of Marxism, and out of Marxism came socialism and communism, like I was saying the other day. But communism is really like socialism is like a predecessor to communism. So that's pretty much what it comes down to with them people over there. You know what I'm saying? Like the Communist Party, what they would call the Communist Party, like they got the People's Republic of China, and like even that term people, the People's Republic.
1 second.
People.
And let me tell y'all real quick what he's talking about when he's saying them people. For the people who just started tuning in, we are talking about Asia right now and in China. Continue.
Yeah, for the people's, like the People's Party and all that term right there, that's a communist, that's communist wordplay right there. And this stuff goes deep, man. Like, man, okay. I mean, I just don't want to put a bunch of people's business out there, but that's like
what you can't do. This is the scoop. Give us the scoop. Who's what and when and where and why.
Me and some brothers was studying this some years ago, and it's like, it's even like, okay, that's like you had the new left, what they would call the new left. Okay, that's like how Farrakhan and some of these other so-called, civil rights type people, they be up in these colleges teaching. Okay, that's what the Black Panthers used to do. That was called the new left. That's like when that stuff was going on with Vietnamese back in the day, the war between Vietnamese and America, and Muhammad Ali was talking about, I ain't fighting no war for no Viet Cong. That was on April the 28th when he said that. Yesterday, the couple days ago was the anniversary of that, which was April 28th, like I say. And see, the Black Panthers, they was talking about helping them folks over there. But see, like new left and far left and extreme leftist ideologies is like Marxism. But it's not like the communism and the socialism that they're practicing over there. They practicing it in such a way, it's a revolutionary ideology, but they're practicing it in such a way over there in them countries to benefit that country and that people that's native to that land over there in Russia and these places like that. And so basically what the Black Panthers and a lot of these other Black groups used it, they used it on a different level. Even the Nation of Islam had, like how it say, why does the devil keep us apart from his social equality? Socialist means a person, a groups of people coming together for one common cause. Equal to me means to be equal in everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's socialism, like I say, is a predecessor for communism. And like that's like I was talking about that term peoples, like they say the People's Republic of China, and they got other communist countries that'll say that the people's this and the People's Party, and that's like people's nation, the people's nation, like with the Black Stones and the El Rukins up there in Chicago and Jeff Ford. And see, he was going over there messing with Gaddafi back in the day. Now that was an Islamic socialist republic in Libya. And if you observe their flag closely, it's the red, black, and green Marcus Garvey flag. And all Gaddafi did was stick a crescent moon and a 5-pointed star in the middle of it, and stamp it on top of the Garvey flag. And a lot of people, they try to play down Gaddafi and wife, and like you got a lot of European media systems I seen, they be like, oh no, he this and he that, whoop de whoop whoop. And then, you know what I'm saying, they try to get some Black folks out there saying a word against him, but actually Gaddafi was trying to liberate Africa from any type of foreign colonizing control. He was trying to bring Africa under a whole United States, like America is divided into different states, and make Libya.
Yeah, he was trying to bring it into one nation.
Libya like the Colombia is to the United States. You know what I'm saying? And he was trying to get all them nationalize all resources in Africa, which what that basically means, if you nationalizing your resources, he's making it to where everything is centered around bringing money to Africa. It's not Britain coming down here and taking this and taking it up over there and then going and selling it to China or some other foreign country, you know what I'm saying, random foreign country. It's not about that right there, or China coming down there to Africa and then going and selling what they got to some other foreign country. It's about directing it to where the cash flow is coming and circulating directly to the benefits of Africa and bringing up Africa. And that's really why that's part of why they really killed Gaddafi. And see, he was gonna put it on the gold standard too. And just like the guy was saying yesterday, that Nixon brought him off the gold standard. And see, it talks about that in chapter 20 of The Fall of America by Elijah Muhammad. He talked about Nixon taking it off the gold standard, and he said that's gonna drive the country down a hole. And it has. It made the debt the debt has outrageously rose up. You went from $2 billion in debt in 1913 when the Federal Reserve was founded, and now we like 25 trillion, damn near $30 trillion. From 30 trillion, from 2 billion to 30 trillion from 1913 to 2020. That's outrageous. And a lot of that money's owed to people like China. People like China is where that money's supposed to go to in other places.
So, just how you were having on everything as far as the economics goes and the communism goes. Last night I went and did my research because, like I was saying before you came on into the show, there were certain things that I just had, I wasn't aware about. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said yesterday on our show, all I cared about was my finances coming in, our business, staying above water, and my family's health, but it definitely does, what my cares are at this very moment, and Patah brought up the woman by the name of, let me see how to say her name again. What is this woman? Shi Zhanli? Shi Zhanli? Yeah.
Yeah, that
Shi Zhanli. Yeah, Shi Zhanli, right? Okay. Okay. So, in America that the whole, COVID-19 has mutated from SARS, and it was just something basically natural and so forth, and just mutated and it got worse, and and now it's just something that's basically out of their control right now. They're trying to figure out how to make how to come up with some antidotes and some type of some type of vaccinations and stuff like that for the virus, which we all know that the virus is really a strong version of pneumonia. But the woman, she actually did indeed create the virus. She created it. And from what my research was saying, okay, I'm gonna read directly from what I wrote down, and I wrote it down in my way because they was talking so fast, but this is something that you can actually go and look up. So it says the coronavirus is closely related to the two viruses, CoV-Z-C45 and CoV-ZXC21, that is sampled from bats in Jushan by the People's Liberation Army. So the People's Liberation Army are who actually sampled those two viruses from the bats. The Wuhan coronavirus has an 89.1% similarity with the CoV-Z-C45 virus and exhibits 100% amino acid similarity to bats with the E protein, right? So going further, General Robert Spalding went into speaking. He's from the Hudson Institute, former NCE. He's a Hudson Institute former NCE senior strategy director. He was saying, but which we already knew because if you talk to other doctors here in the United States, they already told you that it's going to be ongoing, it's going to continue. But he definitely he let it known that this is not going away. The coronavirus is not going away. It cannot be cured. It's not going to be stopped. It's just going to keep going. It can get worse. So that's what he said in this documentary that I was watching. So Shi Zhanli, she located the key to how coronavirus can overcome and cross-species barriers in order to directly infect human bodies. Shi Zhanli, the woman, she is actually an important link to the coronavirus. In 2014, she published a paper discussing her own research into the synthetic viruses. But since 2013, with the SARS outbreak, she has been the one conducting research to the coronaviruses. That's been since 2003. They have been specifically researching the S protein, which makes it transmittable to humans since 2003. So when SARS actually became an outbreak, she was the one that actually discovered SARS and released SARS. That woman, Shi Zhang. In 2013, she and her team published a paper claiming a breakthrough in coronavirus research that successfully isolated 3 viruses from bats. So again, from 2013 until for 10 years, they were sitting here working on bats, you know, and trying to study, you know, their cells and their proteins, their amino acids and so forth, trying to figure out a way to cross contaminate, you know, the animal species with the human species to see what could happen. So once she had the S protein that integrated with the human ACE2 receptors that effectively demonstrated the human's infection to SARS, like viruses to humans, without the need of an intermediate host. So once she did that, again, let me repeat this because I wrote it down. Once she actually did that, she successfully made a way to transfer one virus from the animal into the human without a host. She did it all in the lab. She was able to create this. You understand what I'm saying? Now that it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. Then in 2015, she published another paper in the British Journal of Nature Medicine discussing the synthetic viruses that they created. A self-replicated teneric virus that had a SARS virus that came from the SARS virus as the framework with the key S protein, replaced from one that they had found in the bat coronavirus that she mentioned in 2013. So again, let me repeat that. In 2015, she published another paper in the British Journal of the Nature Medicine discussed she created, right? That came from the SARS virus that they basically emulated with the key S protein, but they replaced that key S protein with the bat coronavirus that she mentioned in the 2013 newspaper. So she took that protein out and replaced it with the bat protein, right? So all in all, when it's all said and done, she's the one that created the virus. But then once they actually created the virus, it actually hit Asia in that Wuhan area, right? It hit Asia. It said 99 people. What it was saying was 99 people were affected, right? 45 of those people of the 99, 45 of the 99 people actually they overcame the virus, but the other percentage died from it, right? Instead of letting the world know about this virus that she had created and released amongst her own people, they kept trying to keep it on a hush hush, right? Throughout the whole time. They just wanted it on a hush. They didn't want nobody to know what's going on. But she kept messing around with that daggone virus, and the stuff just started to spread all through Central Asia. When they said normally what these viruses take place in Southern Asia, right? In like South China, let me not say Asia, in South China. But this virus in particular was created and originated in Wuhan, which is in Central China. Okay, so it just started spreading. The shit just started spreading. Yeah, the shit just started spreading. They tried to put it on this major seafood market there.
Right.
That's why they were trying to. That's why America we caught the virus from the bats. Yeah, we caught the virus from the bats, from what they eating and so forth, but that's not how it happened. She actually put that into the people, and then it started going into they started spreading it because it became something like a pneumonia, which it is a strand of pneumonia, and they started spreading that daggone virus, and then it just started going and it started reaching outside of Asia. But then they was ordered to destroy all samples of that virus inside of that lab. In order to destroy everything, and now not one scientist in there are able to speak. No one talking about it, and nothing like that. You know what I mean? I still got to continue that documentary, but that's the basics. That's the main thing that I needed to hear about that broad who created this virus, who spread it all across the United States, all across the world globally, but she's still sitting there walking around. She's not in prison. Every single one of them scientists need to be in prison because they were sitting there messing with animals. You know, and what is it? Don't you go to jail longer for killing a daggone animal versus killing a human?
Oh yeah, over here in America, you know what I'm saying? That's like endangering a child charge. If you do something to an animal, you're supposed to go to jail for that. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
yeah,
And,
I agree,
and then,
and that's
and then
why
1 second, we
I'm
got a
saying
comment that says now you can't. He says now you can't reverse engineer it because it's been destroyed. Absolutely correct. The thing has been destroyed. They was ordered to destroy it inside their labs. So now what? So that's why now they're trying to find some type of remedy, some type of vaccination, some type of something to keep it, to calm it down and to suppress the virus. But we all know once a virus is created, well, they say once a virus is created and is in your system, it's always going to be in the system. It will just lie dormant.
this should be a wake-up call, because like I ain't gonna lie, like I'm real nationalistic, you know what I'm saying? And like I'm cool with them brothers, you know what I'm saying? I got much love for them. I got family that's in the NOI, you know what I'm saying,
right.
under Louis Farrakhan, but that's why I bumped heads with them on certain aspects. Cause like I'm on some stuff, like really my primary focus on educating, like whatever I got, I'm gonna bring it to the Black community first. Cause like I got friends and people I know in the world that are all different types of nationalities. I got people from all walks of life in my family, my biological family. But man, like this stuff right here, that's why I say my primary focus is teaching what they would call the so-called Black community, because it's like I'm saying with this communism and then what you're talking about, and that's the scientific aspect, is these folks, man, whoever she working for, which, you know what I'm saying, like I say, she could be an agent for the United States and help set that up.
He's
Like
being
to get
funded.
folks,
They're being funded by the United States.
Huh? You say what?
I said they're being funded by the United States. The United States are funding them. They're funding them. That's what's going on. That's what's been going on.
With their economic systems, like I'm saying, over here in America, you're dealing with capitalism. You're dealing with free trade over here. Over there, you're dealing with a communism based on the aspects of a dictator. Hold up. Let me show you something. This right here, what I was talking about yesterday, and this is a 2016. This was April the 8th, 2016 Newsweek, and it was pages 20 and 21, and this was an article called "How China Wrecked Free Trade." You know what I'm saying? And I guess this article was trying to sympathize with some of what Donald Trump was saying, but that's always what I've been saying, is that I'm pretty sure he got some sense on economics. He might be racist or whatever like that, but if people able to come to grips with reality and stuff like Yakub and the true nature, you know what I'm saying, of God and the devil, and the true identities of God and the devil, this should be, you know what I'm saying, we already know what it is, you know what I'm saying. Even in China, them people are known over there in China to call foreigners, especially colonial European foreigners, Western devils. That's what they call, that's slang they use over there in China, literally. But right here is talking about it says how China wrecked free trade, and this is going into talking about it says manufacturing employed 17.1 million Americans in 2000. 17.1 million Americans were employed in manufacturing in 2000. It employed 12 million at the end of 2013. So it dropped down from the statistics from 17.1 to 12 million. But these numbers that people are saying. But I'm pretty sure it is not a lie. It's pretty right and exact, because like I say, a lot of these products in these retail stores are ultimately being manufactured in these foreign countries like China and also India and places like Bangladesh. But it says manufacturing wages have barely grown for nearly 2 decades, and these realities have brought what may be a historic shift in U.S. economic policy, a fracturing of the free trade consensus that has prevailed since the end of World War II. You know what I'm saying? And that has to do, like I say, with the capitalism. That's what the government economy in the United States corporation is based on, is free trade capitalism. Anybody has the opportunity to start a business, a LLC, a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or a corporation themselves with a board of directors, stocks in that corporation. And it says that China's accession to the World Trade Organization, which is connected to the United Nations, was heartily supported by George W. Bush administration and the subsequent economic ascent of what is now the world's second largest economy. Among the most influential papers reshaping the received empirical wisdom about how labor markets adjust to trade shocks is one published in January by the National Bureau of Economic Research. In the study titled "The China Shock," the author David Dorn, David Arthur, and Gordon Hanson conclude that an adjustment in local labor markets has been remarkably slow, with wages and labor force participation remaining depressed and unemployment rates elevated for at least a full decade after the China trade shock commences in 2001. That same year them World Trade Centers got hit, which is a whole nother conspiracy. And going down a little bit, it says, in other words, the only benefit to the U.S. from the mass surge of Chinese imports, manufactured imports from China have risen from 4.5% of the U.S. total in 1991 to nearly 25% today. And it is the low price of goods sold at Walmart and elsewhere. The direct estimates, the cost in manufacturing communities throughout the U.S. have been substantial. Our direct estimates, the economists wrote, imply that had import penetration from China had grown after 1999, there would have been 560,000 fewer manufacturing jobs lost throughout the year 2011. So that's people over here in America. So they had over 560,000 people lose their jobs in manufacturing over manufacturing these little product thing. You know what I'm saying, that they sell in stores or whatever. And they estimate the impact of Chinese imports account for approximately 10% of the job decline in manufacturing. China has had 34 complaints against it at the World Trade Organization. So these other countries and they little 10% leaders, they little, you know what I'm saying, rulers and the rich that are mad, basically. So they over there griping to the UN, United Nations, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, it had 34 complaints about it at the World Trade Organization for unfair trade practices since 2001, behind only the EU and the US in that time frame. And while China has grown as a market for US goods and services, the bilateral trade deficit between the two is massive. A staggering $365 billion was lost last year. Talking about the money going, basically money going into US goods and services.
When was this published?
To China. Hey.
You said last year. When was this published?
Oh yeah, this was 2016, so that would be 2015.
They talking about, okay.
So yeah, before 2016 and 2015, they lost $365 billion America did to China in 2015, going into 2016, when this newspaper article, and you Google it, it's still on there because I looked it up to see if it's still on there the other day because I started to post about this. And I'm glad y'all brought this up too, because I swear I started posting about this. But that's what it is. That's what it is. It's a money thing, essentially. Hell, that's
it's been a money thing. Right? It's been a money thing. It's been a money thing since our grandparents and our great-grandparents was born. It's been a money thing. But like Carlos Harris said, Africa is still, they're still, I'm going to say still because he didn't say still. He said, yeah, Africa is selling the land to Asia at record rates. You know what? This is something they've been doing. This is something they've been doing. Like Africa quick to sell their land. But you know what? Something else he brought up in here, he said that he's been doing research on different quote unquote cities that are for sale across the United States. But again, this is something I've been, I never went on video with this. I never had a podcast with this, but I talk about it, in my posts and so forth. These are not cities in the United States. These are countries. Every place, Michigan, for example, like you said, Nevada, Massachusetts, Texas, those are all individual countries within this nation. Okay, so he's saying right now that Michigan, he looked it up and said Michigan is on sale right now for $900,000, 66 miles and 42,000 square plus acres. It's on sale. So right now, someone can go up into Michigan and buy Michigan for $900,000. Buy a whole goddamn country. Buy a whole country for $900,000. It's all about money. And that's what it's been about since the beginning. And okay, so let me see. We won't take a black perspective. He said, okay, now he's talking about going back to Africa and buying land. So, you know what? To be honest, I'm perfectly fine here, right here where we are, right here. I'm perfectly fine here. We need to set up and buy stuff here and take over where we are at right now. Just like the colonists and all of them came over here and took over where we was at when our people was already here. We need to take over what we got going on right here. But most of our people are too weak. They're too weak to come together because they're too much in competition with each other. Everyone's in competition. Instead of just coming together and uniting to do what needs to be done, it won't happen. And it's not happening right now. You understand what I'm saying?
Man, go ahead.
Yeah, like I was saying, but it's just not happening right now because our people are their minds are too I hate to use the word brainwashed because that's just been a word that's been overused so much, but it's true. You know what I mean? They are so brainwashed here, brainwashed to hate each other. You know what I mean? To hate each other, to compete with each other. Everything is just, we're always against each other to the point that we can't even unite with each other to do what we need to do to overcome what's happening right now in this country. So this broad in Asia done spread this virus all across the world. You feel what I'm saying? And again, let's get back to this money part. Okay, spread it all across the world, which is now essentially affecting everybody's income except for theirs. Except for that 10%. They're the only one who's not being affected like that. But we're sitting here waiting on, okay, when we gonna get our next check? When our business gonna come back, it's gonna start there, it's gonna increase again because everything is declining. When is this gonna happen? When are the stores gonna open up? Because a lot of our people don't know how to grow, not even grow food. It's against the law for us to grow food in cities. Most of us live in cities. We live in cities. We live in metropolitan cities. We can't grow food. So we sitting here depending on them to open up grocery stores so we can get food. So we can go and get fresh water. You get charged for collecting rainwater. You're not allowed to collect rainwater in places. It's just like a lot of stuff that a lot of laws that are put into place to stop our freedom, and that's what's next. That's what I feel like is next because they done created this daggone virus. They got us on lockdown, you know what I mean? So that we can't go around each other. We can't really communicate with each other like that unless we're on social media, on some type of social media platform, so the information that we need, we have to get on social media because the news is not telling us nothing. Keeping it at one or two things, the death rate, and they're telling you about the very, very, very low rate of people supposedly, that are recovering for it, when we actually know it's more people that are recovering that are dying. You know what I mean? So, and it's been like that ever since this daggone coronavirus started. More people are recovering that they are dying, just like pneumonia. Just like pneumonia, and it's a stronger strain of pneumonia. But now they got us on lockdown in this country. It got us on lockdown in other countries and so forth. And now we're sitting here waiting on the next move. What's going to happen with the president? What's going to happen with our people? With our people, period. And I'm talking about the people of the United States. What's going to happen? You know what I mean? Is there going to be another war like we was talking about yesterday over this money situation because they got beef with China? What's going to happen? And yes, Carlos Harris is right. We need to start producing and manufacturing our own stuff. But how are we going to do that without the funds to do so? Our funds are controlled by this government. By this government. We don't have our own nation. We don't have our own nation. We're not creating our own funds.
Oh, no.
Our funds come from them. So there's only so much we do as the people, there's only so much we can do in order to make that happen.
Oh yeah. Hey man, I'm telling you, and that's it.
What you got?
You hitting the nail on the head with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm just sitting back. I'm hearing that, and I'm telling you, that's what it is. And see, man, that's one thing that I got caught up so busy teaching this esotericism and showing people how all these ideologies, whether they want to look at it or not, or believe it or not, the truth, the facts, all these ideologies, religious ideologies, spiritual ideologies, these Afrocentric ideologies, it all has points and elements where it connects together. You know what I'm saying? And you got the most notable Afrocentric writers, Yosef Benjai Cannon, George M. James. Them people will tell even European Masonics like Manly P. Hall, whoever. Both sides agree what I'm saying is the truth. But man, that's really what it is too, is people get so caught up on her politicking behind their little religious or spiritual ideology, or they group or whatever, and politicking on who knows more or who got the upper hand or whatever like that, and people so busy taking shots at each other. And while they doing that, these folks are not playing. And it's just like what I'm talking about with this communism. There's a lot of these older groups, and it's like I'm saying, whether even that stuff, like that's why I disagree with some of that stuff on that Malcolm X documentary, because they was talking about Malcolm X was trying to go more in a political direction, and Elijah Muhammad was keeping it more in a religious direction. But that's not exactly true. What Elijah Muhammad was doing was using religion as a camouflage to push a political ideology, like I say, that goes along with essentially what socialism and communism. And what communism is doing, like they Cold War and all that, they gave a whole misinterpretation. And I'm not trying to be on here talking no anti-governmental stuff. What I'm saying about communism is there's certain aspects that are applicable and can be beneficial if Black people could put aside they certain dogmatic beliefs and just come together on a socioeconomic and political basis and get an understanding. And this stuff has been brought to the table, like I say, by many people and organizations, not just the NOI. I mean, that red flag that the NOI got, the red flag is a symbol of communism. That's why the Chinese got a red flag. You know what I'm saying? You got to, if you people know the red flag, the red hammer and sickle, and that's what the hammer and sickle represents, is the common worker. The common worker, the mass of workers. That's the 85% and the 5%. The capitalist in communism is like the 10%. And that's what brings about the class struggle. But I'm going to read this one little part from that article I was reading earlier. And it was talking about the surge in Chinese manufacturing has allowed millions of its citizens to enter the middle class and also hooked Americans on cheaper consumer goods. And this has been going this has been going on since like 2001. So this going up all the way through Obama's presidency when this so-called recession came about. And it even talks about the financial crisis in 2008 and 2009 as one reason. And other economists believe increased regulation is another cause of wage stagnation. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was saying yesterday that Trump was trying to slap tariffs on them. He was trying to charge taxes for them to basically that maritime law, like the Moorish Science Temple talks about, for them to bring stuff over here on these boats. See what I'm saying? And that's why the Moors talk about that. And then they talk about the North Gate, which is the North Star, you know what I'm saying, going to the North Gate and northwest of Maxim, talking about the what they would call Turtle Island or America, you know what I'm saying, has been made in the United States. Moors are right about some things, but it's like putting it in a practical basis, because we just on some theoretical stuff right now, but putting in a practical basis, the Moors are right. That's why Trump said, well, hell, I'm gonna tax y'all. Y'all want to keep bringing that stuff up over, because Trump understand what them Moors talking about, because he been doing that stuff with his daddy all his life. But going into this stuff with this communism, like I say, the communists, they talk about these social classes. And man, I'm talking about this stuff so deep. Hold up.
Carlos says the only problem in this country is Black Wall Street. Scared blacks stay independent, scared of our oppressors. He's absolutely
like you got a radical,
a bunch of scared of consequences and repercussions.
You got a radical left and an ultra left. See, they talk about the right and the left, and the alt-rights is like these super ultra conservatives, like them guys Sean Hannity on Fox News, Rush Limbaugh, even them hardcore people that be out there that are really low-key white supremacists, like they had them documentaries on Netflix a couple years ago where they like really like neo-Nazi skinheads, but they running around in three-piece suits, dressed like businessmen. I know y'all remember people know what I'm talking about. You might know what I'm talking about, but they had the videos on Netflix with that type of stuff. That's all right, but ultra radical left and ultra left is extreme left-wing views, and that's Marxism and Maoist ideology, and that's Mao Zedong. And he lived from 1893 to 1976, and he's a Chinese communist leader and chairman of the People's Republic of China from 1949 to 1959. And his Mao Zedong advocated is political, social, economic, and military theories and policies advocated by Mao Zedong as those concerning revolutionary movements and guerrilla warfare, like the Black Panther Party, basically. So what I'm saying, like I say, these folks, but you don't think these folks your friends. So what I'm saying, you can learn something from them, but they not our friends at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that they using them strategy, they using that to benefit the Chinaman. It ain't to benefit Africans. So what I'm saying, because I mean, I'm just like I say, man, I'm more like this needs to be more Black centered. See what I'm saying? All these people are not our people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it's what it is. People take it. I mean, they take it how they want to. It is what it is, man. I'm not fixing to forfeit my stuff to make another race of people feel good, because why? All the crap that's been going on with Black folks. Oh, I can't get up here and say this, so I'm being hateful. Hell nah, man. That's hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hell. And But listen, what I'm talking about right here, utopian socialism. And like they talk about socialists in our lessons, which is a predecessor to the establishment of communism, is an economic system based on the premise that if capital is voluntarily surrendered its means of production to the state or the workers, unemployment and poverty would be abolished. If its means of production was voluntarily surrendered to the state or the workers. So that's what I'm talking about with that capitalism. Is this talking about taking the finances and the governmental power out of the hands of the rich and powerful few and putting it into the hands of the masses, or essentially the masses coming together and putting their finances together on an understanding and start to buy up properties and start to build up their own inner manufacturing, like this brother was talking about with this Black Wall Street, building up your own internal socioeconomic structure. And that's really what these damn Chinatowns be, is based on this type of stuff right here. Them folks coming up over here with nobody. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to mess with you. They got their own section, square section of town, so many geographical miles locked off to them people, and they do all their business and dealings inside that little square mileage area of that city or town or wherever locality they at, and they don't deal with no outsiders. And that's okay. That's part of this right here. This is out of the 2010 World Almanac and Book of Facts. So this is a little bit old, but it's in these new ones too, because information like this don't change. But these are socialist theories based on the ideas of human perfectibility or progress were widely disseminated. Utopian socialists, like what I was talking about a while ago, such as Saint Simon, he lived from 1760 to 1825, envisaged an orderly, just society directed by a technocratic elite. A model factory town in New Lanark, Scotland, was set up by utopian Robert Owen, 1771 to 1858, when he lived, and communist experiments were tried in the U.S. So that's basically what it's saying, is what I said a while ago, is that even these Europeans, see how they doing it? They sitting up over there experimenting with this, but they was talking about the class Marxism. Karl Marx was talking about that class struggle between the rich and the poor in Europe, and poor European masses versus rich European masses. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying we got to tweak it up a little bit and think about black first, and doing this on the basis of the poor blacks and looking out for the, like how the Black Panthers did it. Because I'm telling you, the Black Panthers, you can look it up, they adopted these same political ideologies I'm talking about. And you see how they came on the radar. So obviously this is something that is going towards something right. It's like that Black Wall Street. Look what they did to Black Wall Street. So obviously I'm where the hidden treasures at. See what I'm saying? And I mean, it's like what you were saying, well, going along with everything that you said earlier. That's what it is, man. People need to get together and start building like that. And that's what them Chinese folks call themselves doing, like I told you yesterday. And Malcolm X said in his autobiography, like I say, I had to find the exact pages, but he talked about how he learned from what the British did to the Chinese folks, and how the folks went over there and started building up that little stuff like I'm talking about, using this. And that's what the NOI and Malcolm was talking about doing. That's what Malcolm, and the direction he was trying to go with the black folks, is he said we need to do something like what they did, but we need to do it for the black man. See
I love that book. I love that book. I read that book three times. Autobiography. Like, I love that book. Now, hold on. I agree again with Carlos. He's been the #1 commenter on here. He says, that we just need, basically, we just need to go on and do what we got to do. You know what I mean? He said, if they blow it up, they blow it up. Oh, well. But we need to go ahead and run this country until they want to blow it up. Guess what? What we was talking about yesterday with them Asians coming up in here, like you were saying, they got their own little area, normally downtown. That's just them. That we go into and we shop at. I'm gonna say we, even though I don't go down there and I don't be going shopping down there, but I'm just speaking in general. That our people go into and shop at. Then they also come into the community that we live in because they know this is where we are and they set up shop in the communities we live in. And again, we allow that to happen. We allow for them to set up them shops. You were saying yesterday how you felt like it was a good idea and so forth, but I'm totally against that, period. I'm against it because they're using our people. They come into our communities, they employ our people to attract more of our people so they can keep getting the money that we're making, our hard-earned money, their country, and do whatever they're doing within their country. You understand?
Yeah.
They're taking over to their country. You get what I'm saying? But they're treating us like crap here. They're treating our people, our people from Africa like crap in their country. You know what I mean? Got them laying on the streets, homeless, kicking them out of their cribs, asking for papers before they walk into stores and so forth, treating our people like they're dogs. Because you ask for papers before a dog walks into a store. You want to make sure that they registered and so forth with the country or the state or whatever before they can walk into a damn store. So they're treating our people like animals in Africa. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They watch us like wild animals when we go into their stores, but yet we keep shopping in their stores. When we have the money to come together to open up our own stores. We have that money to do that, but we rather spend it in other places. You understand what I'm saying? We could be doing the same thing that they doing, but we ain't. And just like he was saying earlier, it takes like 30-something people, I think he said, just to buy the Michigan, you know what I mean? 30-something people or something like that with the X amount of money, you know what I mean, to buy that land. But are we going to do that? No, because we are so content with being, taken care of by this country. We're so content with that. We're so content.
Exactly.
We're being taken care of by this country that we don't want to take that necessary jump, that leap of faith and try to do what's necessary for us. And again, like I always say, that it's a lot of it has to do with fear. You know what I mean? Our people are scared. They're scared of consequences. They're scared of what might happen, what the white man might say about this, what the judge might say about that. Are we going to go to jail for this? Are we going to get fined for that? Blah, blah, blah. That's all our people are scared of. Our consequences and repercussions. They don't want to be in jail. You know what I mean? They don't want a ticket for something. They don't want whatever. So they just sit there and go on with the flow instead of being the flow. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just craziness.
And see, I was gonna say this right here.
I was talking about quick,
go ahead.
Yeah, real quick before you get into what you were saying though, right? Back onto this whole coronavirus thing, right? This whole coronavirus thing. This is what I really was on, that that COVID-19, right? Mm-hmm. Here where I'm at, I'm not gonna say the specific city that I'm in right now. It said that as of yesterday, there's been 1910 positive cases and 95 deaths in the city that I'm in, right? The influx didn't occur until the beginning of April 2020. That's what they're saying, right? It just started to basically take over the city, whatever. Now they're just closing down important places that we need to go shopping at and so forth, right?
Right.
I really feel, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, I really feel like they're trying to find a way to cause us to go at war with each other. You understand? To go at war with each other so that they can initiate what everyone been talking about, this martial law stuff, so that they can initiate some type of war that y'all were talking about with Asia. I really feel like they're trying to spark a war between us first so they can make it into something bigger. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're closing down stuff that we actually need at this point. Shit is just getting closed down. We don't have access to places that serve large amounts of food. You understand what I'm saying? All the produce that we need, all the vegetables that we need, and so forth. They're closing down them places. We're not allowed to grow it. We can't grow it in certain cities. You got to be in more rural areas to grow, crops and so forth. They don't let you do it here. So I feel like they're trying to spark a war between each other. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm not really sure.
Right.
This is just what I feel like. I feel like they're trying to get us to go at each other's necks. You know what I mean? Just so that they can start putting another law into place because stuff is happening. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just sitting back and I'm just watching. But like I said, that woman, she needs to go to jail. Everybody a part of this whole COVID-19 thing needs to go to jail. The people who released it, they all need to be in prison. They all need to be in prison. But they're not putting them in prison. Why? Because America was a part of it. They funded it. They knew what was happening. So how they gonna put her in jail? You understand what I'm saying? But after you go into that paperwork, because we've been on, I want to spend the last like maybe 15 minutes on you talking about the esoteric sciences. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's get into this. Now Trump is now investigating China. That's something else we was talking about yesterday. Remember we were saying it's gonna be Trump trying to point the finger at them and do the blame and do all that stuff like that. Now, he's investigating China and so forth. It's gonna end up being a war. Another war, I should say, because we've been in war. What was that, 2008?
You was bringing up that esoteric science, and just to add on to all that stuff I was saying, and like I say, man, I'm not no anti-governmental person like that. Like, I ain't trying to advocate no people that's going and doing some outrageous stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I know that stuff I'm verging on is revolutionary talk, because like Marxism is a practical program for revolutionaries. That I'm telling you, the Black Panthers adopted the same ideology, but like I say, that's what the Chinese adopt. Now, going into the esotericism, I've been on here for years now talking about theosophy, Madame Blavatsky, and these European people like this guy Marx who adopt these ideologies. Marx was a Hegelian, which Hegelianism talks about the universal mind and that pantheistic ideology about the divine intelligence of the universal mind that controls the forces of nature being manifested in all things in the universe, all particles, atoms, people, places, and things in the universe. There's a consciousness at the root of the atoms and molecules that make up this physical world that is the universal mind. And that's part of the foundation that Marx built that ideology off of, you know what I'm saying? And that he said there was like, you got the synthesis, antithesis, and then the thesis. You know what I'm saying? The antithesis goes against the thesis to get the synthesis is the opposites that play and the events that play out through history that add up and make history evolve. And all that goes along with the evolution of the zodiac signs and the zodiac cycles and the great year cycles in astronomy. You know what I'm saying? As the zodiac signs are supposed to influence the chain of events and the evolution of history and races and the arts and sciences and the evolution of people, places, and things on Earth evolve through them zodiac signs. So what I'm saying, but this dude Hegel, like a lot of these Europeans, he racist, and he got a lot of racist stuff he said about Africa. He one of the people that's responsible for chopping them countries up like that and making what we see Africa, how it's divided and the demarcation lines between these countries in Africa today. Hegel, you can thank that racist son of a gun for that. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, going to China, and like I say about that theosophy and Oriental meditation, like Buddhism and things like that, yoga, all that esoteric or tantra yoga, and all them type of things go along with what is Tibetan Buddhism. So I'm saying Tibet is a section of China. You know what I'm saying? I've been on here saying this stuff, and it's like, it's funny how people, so a couple years back, some of these big people with these bigger platforms on YouTube want to talk about, oh no, don't study that. That's all Luciferian Satanism. That's all satanic. Man, that stuff comes from Indians of southern India, which are dark, very melaninated skinned people. Those are what you would consider black folks. They just got, their hair is just straight. You know what I'm saying? The Dravidian people of India and ancient shamanism and esotericism, that's Asiatic esotericism. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff that these folks in Europe are getting, they are importing it the same way the Dutch East India Company, the same way they was importing teeth and other natural products, rice and things like that from China. The British was, when they was colonizing all that. The British had most of the colonies in Africa too, but by the same token, they was also, and even the Russians are known to have colonized a little bit of China and had some warfare going on with China back in the day, but they got cool again. And this Communist Party in China started rising back up in the thing between like the Cold War, the communism and democracy, or communism and capitalism. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, Blavatsky is, and she went down there to China, sneaking up in China, and was supposed to learn from them folks. Like they went down there to India, and all that is the devils, like it's saying the lessons, the devils going under the secret study for 35 to 50 years. So I'm saying, and then they can come and do trading amongst us, and we would not kill them as quick as we would the other devils who have not gone under this study. But a Muslim doesn't love a devil regardless of how long he studies. You know what I'm saying? Or a 5%er doesn't love the devil regardless of how long he studies. So I'm saying,
right.
And I was saying earlier, I've studied that stuff and I learned this stuff because this is bits and pieces of our information that these people have gained and learned and turned around and monopolized to build their own little civilizations up, like the Greeks and the Romans did back in the ancient times. They still doing it right now today. So I'm saying with this type of stuff, and I've been on here saying this stuff. I've been on here talking about the esotericism in Asia and China. I've been on here saying this for years. Like you can see, I'm already up on their politics over there. You know what I'm saying? And like I really felt like it needed to be applied by the black community, but it needed to be brought back more to its original form of how it was. But I mean, like I'm saying, all that stuff them folks using anyways, just like they got these Masonic people over here, like I told them in a video one day, just like they got these Masonic people over here in all parts of the United States corporate government, out of District of Columbia, they got all the Masonic monuments up there. Do people not think that the same type of people is over there running these foreign countries? It might be a little bit different. Like you got the Hong Society, you know what I'm saying, in China, and you had the Triad. I think the Triads. You had the Triad Society or the Triangle Society. Earth, heaven, and man makes the triangle. That's where that group, the Triads, come from. That's like a version. It's like basically like the Italian mafia for the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? And you got different types of groups. Like I was saying, that guy Mao Zedong was supposed to be messing with the Skull and Bones back in the day. I had to do some more research on that. That's just some stuff that I read, like I said in that book, Stephen Scoria's Secret Societies of America's Elite, but I'm pretty sure it got some type of truth behind it. But they've been doing that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's not their stuff They just borrowing it. Just like the lessons say, they borrowing it. They got a small portion out of a full 360 of knowledge. So what I'm saying, and they using it to do what they do. The last, okay, that's like Yakub and had the grafting. You had it from the black to the brown to the yellow to the white. And that's the same thing, right? That's the yellow man. It's like Malcolm X said in his autobiography, China is the longest continuing civilization of this time period, but the oldest civilizations are in Africa. So I'm saying, because the yellow man is the Chinese man, you know what I'm saying? And he was part of what, and like Elijah Muhammad saying that theology of time, he very near similar to the white man in his ways, but he a better fighter than the white man is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, it's like I say, I've been on her talking about this with, like I say, that theosophy is really a Europeanized form of the esoteric secret society knowledge coming essentially from China, is how the Chinese got it. But all of it traces back to, like I say, southern India with the Black Dravidians, and the Black Dravidians, like the Greek philosopher Diodorus and Herodotus say it, it's in that G.M. James Stolen Legacy too, is that land of India was part of the ancient Egyptian Kemetic Empire right there. But after that empire started falling down in the ancient times, religions like Hinduism evolved and Buddhism evolved out of these ancient practices that can be traced back to the temples of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And Madame Blavatsky say the same thing in her Secret Doctrine book. You know what I'm saying? She talk about a book called Esoteric Buddhism that say the same thing. I've been on here saying it, and that's why it's funny is you had all these cats on these big platforms, because I was taking some shots at them when I was saying it, and they were saying that I was teaching a satanic ideology, I was teaching Luciferianism, and now all the crap is coming out in the wash, and we seeing what it is. I was trying to get a game up. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping it down there.
Right.
But that's how it locks in with that esotericism, this political stuff we've been talking about. It do. You know what I'm saying? Goes right along together.
I got somebody talking about these bigger platforms. I got somebody that I heard that you've been trying to reach out to recently, or trying to talk with. He's gonna be on my show soon. It's Young Pharaoh, and yeah. So he'll be on my show soon, and I know I was told you've been trying to, exchange some words with him or whatever. So your opportunity is coming very soon to say whatever you need to say to him, because he'll be on soon.
I've been showing this stuff. It's you brought him up, and it's like, I just ain't trying to be like that. But I mean, he low key. Like, to me, I took it like when I heard that stuff he said, like he was low key endorsing Trump to a certain extent. But then you want to talk about the NOI having a deal with the KKK. So I'm saying, and it ain't even like that per se, like how he making it out. So all them organizations back then, even Garvey had something going on with the KKK. There's abundant evidence on that. Even what's his name? He said it too. He said it out his own mouth that MLK had something going on with them Rockefellers. But I've been saying that. But that all goes back to this political stuff we talking about. That was on a okay. You see, America don't like China like that. We seeing that right now. But how many times has Trump been up over there shaking hands with them folks? How many times has these other presidents been up over there shaking hands with them folks? Because they don't like each other. They like two different nations that don't like each other, but they will meet on a certain level. So I'm saying, to get certain stuff done. And I mean, what I was talking about with that communism and how these Chinatown people are doing, building up their own independent societies, and how I related that to the NOI. That's what the NOI was doing back in the day. And like they got that old saying called, give them 40 acres and a mule. So what I'm saying, these folks gave them some money. These KKKs don't like black folks, but they didn't want to do no more bloodshed and get that reputation for lynching and beating niggas and all that type of stuff, per se, so-called. So what they did is they gave them some money and said, here, now y'all do what y'all do. And they went up and they took it and they started building up a little communist type community in the south side of Chicago, around Detroit, and all that stuff with the NOI back in the day, going all the way down south, and wherever there was a mosque at, man. You know what I'm saying? And that, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, and then like Trump's daddy was allegedly a KKK, and it's like, regardless if people want to believe he's racist or not, or believe it, all Europeans got racism up in them, and all of them negative by nature, all of them devils by nature. Regardless if you want to feel like that about Trump or not, and say, well, he not racist, all white people not like that. That is their nature. You know what I'm saying? And I just like that dude, like, it really, like, I just didn't like what he was saying about Malcolm X, because I've read the book, and regardless, like, Malcolm X, I've read the book, and I don't like that stuff, but I know what that was about with the feds, and it's about this type of stuff we talking about right here with this Cold War, the same thing your husband said the other day about that Cold War. And that's why the feds was zooming in on the NOI like that too, going along with all this stuff I've been telling you on here. But they tried to kill the man 5 times overseas, but they not gonna do it themselves. See what I'm saying? When they got back over here, they knew that the best thing would do was to wire people up, just like that video said. That even that brother, he's an Orthodox Muslim, he a Sunni Muslim, but he even say out his own mouth, and that's where the whole narrative is going with the video, even him making it. He's saying that these were some niggas with some laws. They was paid. They got paid by the government to wire that stuff up. What Elijah said and his rhetoric that he was carrying on with, I disagree that people should have been talking like that about Malcolm. I disagree that Farrakhan shouldn't have been carrying on with that stuff. A lying hypocrite. Malcolm, a lying hypocrite in them newspapers. I don't think Farrakhan should have been doing that. I don't think James 3X should have been on there talking that crap like that. That nigga Wallace, the police, I did a whole video showing that, and that's the same dude who was talking about Elijah had all them women. He was telling Malcolm, that's the same guy Malcolm was you. Oh, he was having all them women out of wedlock, woody woo woo, they all teenage secretary, woody woo woo. That's what Malcolm's saying out in the open. But it's like, at the same time, man, it's so much. That is a whole thing I could go into. Man, the mafia was making bets on boxing back in the day. You know, they was running gambling houses and stuff like that. And the mafia would come and talk to the NOI. The NOI was strong in places like Philly, in Chicago, where the mafia was deep at too. And there's even urban novel books, like them little books you be writing and selling. You know, I think you wrote some urban novel or some books like that, was more dramatic book. But they got books by his brother, man, Dutch, that brother named Dutch, Miles Ramsey, Dutch, that writes them books. You might know who I'm talking about, but he wrote some books and dialogue like that up in there. Same thing I'm telling you right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the mafia had dirt on J. Edgar Hoover. They knew J. Edgar Hoover was a pedophile, and he was involved in them pedophile rings that got covered up for decades. Like them pedophile rings they got going on over there in Hollywood that was covered up for decades. He knew a lot. The mob knew a lot of stuff, and they was hanging it over J. Edgar Hoover's head. So what I'm saying? So my thing is I think Malcolm knew that too. And I think Malcolm, knowing that them folks was after him like that, I believe in my heart that's why he said some of that stuff he would say too on the media. And I mean, it's like, why are you saying that stuff? And then you know damn well, like he's saying, it's like things in this book contradict what he been saying in videos. Like he say, like I did a whole video and I was showing the dialogue how he said Mr. Muhammad told me that he was the David, that he was the Solomon, and that's part of the reason why. But in the book, Malcolm say that he the one who started saying that, and that him and Wallace decided to start saying that. But when he talking to that dude, what's his name? That white boy, man, I forgot his name, but he a newscaster. He been on there for some decades. Man, I mean, it's like, it's so many contradictions. So just the slap, I really feel like man just said that about the NOI so he could take viewers away from people like BNX and Rizza Islam and individuals like that. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I see. And it ain't even just that. It's like I was telling them with that Operation Paperclip too, with the Nazis. And the Nazis go back to borrowing all that stuff, like I was saying earlier, from that theosophy that go back to them Dravidians down there. And of course, them Europeans gonna whitewash all that esoteric knowledge a little bit, but it's up to you to do your own research and look into it and be able to connect the dots back. Even that Egyptology, they don't whitewash that a little bit. So I'm saying, I don't want how people,
a lot of it.
Yeah, and it's like, if people gonna talk about what Malcolm's talking about, they should be in that state of mind he was in at that time. And it's like, he want to talk about Malcolm talking about what Elijah was doing. And it's like, you know, doggone well that them folks up over there, they been had all kinds of extra man, them folks over there, them Arabs, like I've been telling, they not even practicing Islam. That is a Wahhabi religion that was developed from Abdul Wahhab, who was a disciple under Shabeti Zevi, and Shabeti Zevi was a crypto Jew who talking about he the Messiah who converted to Islam, and he was practicing a form of Kabbalah that's damn near like what Aleister Crowley messing with. Man, that's where Aleister Crowley draws a lot of his satanic ideas from, his Donate Jews, which is where the Wahhabi people come from, Abdul Wahhab through into the Wahhabis, and that's where the Saudis come. The Saudis got to deal with them. That's why them folks going up. That's why they go, like I was telling y'all in that video yesterday, that's why them folks go over there. America does. And they're cool with the Saudis. But they're not cool with nobody else. Because them Iranians and them Iranian Persian people over there is a different bloodline. Like them Afghanis is like them other Muslims are different bloodlines. See what I'm saying?
Right,
but that bloodline is connected to the Jews. Man, it's so much with that. I just, like I say, I'm not with.
I'm here.
I don't believe. I believe them folks. It was something to do with what the NOI was teaching. Man, like I say, that Operation Paperclip too. Like I was talking about a while ago, that Operation Paperclip was when they brought them Nazi scientists from World War II over here to work for the United States government. And then it say right there in that video on Netflix that stuff that the NOI was teaching go along with Nazi ideologies and Nazi scientific knowledge and nationalism, like I was talking about that socialist stuff. And that communism, that's all go along with that Nazism. That's the same thing going over there in China with Madame Blavatsky and her going over there talking about getting it from the Tibetan mountains and them Chinese being communists and the esoteric knowledge in China. Oh man, man, I just I really think, and it's like I say too, whether people want to look at it or not, and all that stuff calling all Masons Luciferian, Satan, like I say, hey, the European are devil by nature, but not all. That was strictly Albert Pike that introduced him, between him and them Domnay Jews. The Domnay Jews really ain't even introduced that into Freemasonry. Like I say, they introduced that type of stuff into Islam. But I mean, that's a whole, I could go into detail about all that stuff. I mean, there's different empires of Islam. So I'm saying that evolved over history. So and they was killing people. Never had the esoteric knowledge. They had certain amounts of people who still had exactly what Prophet Muhammad taught. And those people, the rulers in those lands at the time, they was trying to introduce a fake ideology and call it Islam. And if you was going with, if they found out somebody knew what he taught, they was going to try to kill him.
Right.
But they preserved over time. That's why there's esoteric groups of Islam over there in the Middle East, because they kept preserved close to what Prophet Muhammad originally taught way back when. So I'm saying it's and it's like a lot of that stuff I'll be posting on my timeline. It's like I be showing people how that stuff, man, it's way deeper. I just don't agree with what that man's saying. Like my studies led me to see something different. All that stuff he talking about, like Pike is the one who introduced the Luciferian doctrine. Shriners are not Luciferians. Not all Shriners are Luciferians. And the Shriner degrees and what is revealed in the 120 lessons that the NOI teach is high level Shriner degrees. I can show you the Shriner death oath right now. They say they'll stick a dagger through your eyeballs if you ever tell off the 33rd degree and they catch up with you. They killed William Morgan behind telling that Masonic stuff off. They killed that guy who founded that Mormon church because he was in the higher orders of that Mormonism. He was revealing in the higher orders of Mormonism, he was revealing Masonic degrees and they hand signs, handshakes, passwords. He was just changing the names of the stuff up a little bit, but it was Masonry basically. He got smoked. He got to go. We got to kill you. All that stuff happening up there around New York. They killing these people who telling off this Masonry. This guy, J. is a Shriner. Hell. So what the lessons say, anytime you reveal the truth or the secrets of Islam, your head will be chopped off by the sword. Or they got other ones that I've seen in some Nation of God's Nurse books where it says that your head will be chopped off and your tongue will be cut out your mouth. Now that Shriner death oath says they'll stick a dagger through both your eyeballs and bust your head before the desert sun of Arabia. Where you know what I'm saying? Hell. Now you know J. Edgar Hoover's, he not gonna go out and do it himself. Look at him, he old. All he can do is go sit up in office and have sex with his male co-worker or go molest little kids like Shirley Temple, one of them child Hollywood actors, while he over there kicking it with them folks. You know what I'm saying? So what else to do? Like Talmadge Hayer said himself on that Malcolm X video, some people paid me some money to kill Malcolm X, and they paid these other brothers some money too to kill Malcolm X. But I'm not gonna tell you who told me. And that man did about 20, 25 years in prison. We know that was some folks in the government that paid them to do that. And I really think it was to clean up the image of the Masons too, because of this situation. And this brother, Young Fat, I don't want to hear him coming over here talking. He knows already, because if he knew, he should have brought this up a long time ago. Hell, you know what I'm saying? Like I got the utmost respect for you and your husband and everything like that, but this brother ain't never brought this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hell, he supposed to be from up there in New York. And I mean, they killed this man, William Morgan. They killed this guy who founded the Mormon church behind bringing to the table the same virgin, even though they was whitewashing it. Because like I say, they always gonna whitewash it. You know what I'm saying? It's way back in the 1800s, so it's real racist back then anyway. You know what I'm saying? So they gonna whitewash the knowledge, but they still bringing the knowledge, the esotericism to the table. But you know, the way Elijah Muhammad and Farad and Noble Drew Ali, and even Noble Drew Ali got killed. Hell. And then some of his people got killed. And you see what they teaching going right along version on that Masonic. Obviously, if you go to telling off that stuff back then, obviously they gonna kill you behind putting that stuff out there. And then you being black on top of that and teaching so-called black nationalism or black oriented type politics.
Nationalism.
Political standing of black people on top of it, you revealing that Masonic type stuff like that. That obviously is gonna make them want to kill you. I mean, that's what it's looking like to me. It's gonna make them folks want to do something with you. So I'm saying, and Malcolm, I really like I really think that's what that was with Malcolm, between Malcolm and Elijah Muhammad. And Malcolm was fixing to bring a lot more stuff out that he had known pertaining, you know, because it's like the fathers say, you know, them degrees are just symbolic in them lessons, and they break down into interpretations. And I think Malcolm was bringing that type of stuff out to the public, and they had to whack him. But when they whacked him, they made it look like it was the NOI that did even, okay, that's like that stuff with JFK and the chickens coming home to roost. Now, what did JFK? He made that speech a couple more months before that. You know what I'm talking about, where he talking about he don't like no secret societies and he don't want none of that.
And then they killed him.
Yeah, and that's like that. Okay, that dude, Morgan, when he did what he did and they killed him, that's where a political party came from. That was the third U.S. political party, and it was called the Anti-Masonic Party. They was a political party that believed if you got involved in government politics that you were not supposed to be part of any secret. That's that deep state. That's that damn deep state. That's what the deep state basically is. That they talking about is these folks that be in these groups, these secret society groups, and they infiltrate and get all permeated, involved in these these CIAs and FBIs and different, police state bureaus and whatnot like that, and they use they job ranking to manipulate and serve agendas of their little faction of their secret society, and their secret society also serves lobbyist agendas. You know what I'm saying? And that's like that stuff. Okay, Harry Truman was a Shriner just like J. Edgar Hoover was. Dwight Eisenhower was he was a general in the military during World War II going against the Nazis. And I done showed you how that Nazism come from that guy Shabazz, who was a Mason from Germany, who went over there and learned that Kabbalah and learned about Islam, esoteric Islam, Sufism, and then came back over there and founded that Thule Society. I told you the details on that. And it's like, then they bring these Nazi scientists up over here, and this guy Harry Truman was in he was in office after Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a Mason too. They got pictures of him with all his Masonic gear on, with his boys and everything. Got about them lined up together. He the one who put that pyramid and that all-seeing eye and the eagle on the back of the $1 bill. Hell, you know what I'm saying? And then in 1942, he the one who was talking about them New Deal reform laws. And that term New Deal and Woodrow Wilson's League of Nations, that's where that wordplay New World Order first started coming from, and Roosevelt putting that on it, and then he went putting that on that $1 bill, and then he went over there to Arabia with what's his name? He went over there to Arabia and got down and helped start that Aramco, the Arab American Oil Company. Let me show you. Hold up. Man, I got the foreign reliance on U.S. reliance on foreign minerals right here, and this is the 2008 statistics, and showing, man, when it comes to oil, when it comes to oil, man, Arabs are like they best friends. That's another reason why they ain't going up over there getting at them people like that. But I'm telling you, they've been planning this stuff for years. And then the Rothschilds is from that same bloodline that them Domini satanic Jews come from. And they went over there and founded all them banks in England back in the day. They came over here and helped build the Federal Reserve in 1913. That was around the same time when Woodrow Wilson started coming along with that League of Nations. That's where the United Nations came up out of. And like I say, that's the United Nations. Certain concepts that they adopted is based on that Theosophical Society with Madame Blavatsky. So, I mean, it's like I say, I know what I'm talking about. I don't know everything. I can always learn something. Like I learned a lot listening to y'all, all of y'all yesterday. I learned something from people. That's why I get on here and try to dialogue in a sensible manner like this, because I learned stuff listening to you. You open my eyes up. You know what I'm saying? Your husband, he opened my eyes up to a lot of stuff the other day. He brought me back and shot me back to a lot of stuff that I used to study that I put down for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that I've been talking about on here. So I'm not haughty and arrogant like Lucifer, feeling like I just got all the answers. Nobody can tell me nothing. It ain't even like that. But what I do know, I know I'm not wrong to think that stuff between the nation and Elijah, and that was just solely them. And just see, I mean, you see, I posted it. They sent Elijah to prison back in the day. And then they still teaching this same type of stuff, what I'm talking about. So if he was messing with some girls, and I've seen all their birth certificates. Matter of fact, they got the Malcolm Flex got a video that showed the birth certificates and everything, and it's on YouTube. And if he was messing with them women, regardless, they was of age, and ultimately, my hands are tied to really speaking on what that man got going on in his bedroom, and that's his business. So what I'm saying, and I really think if he was messing with an underage girl that was on some pedophile type stuff or something that could be thrown into the category of aggravated sexual assault or any type of sexual assault, or messing with a minor or something like that, I think them folks would have just zoomed in and shut the whole project down. You know what I'm saying? Right when they had a chance, because they didn't have to do it with Garvey. And then they want to talk about, well, hell, they want to talk about Malcolm talking about that deal and it's like I say, Malcolm's dad was in the UNIA, and the KKK killed Malcolm's dad, and Garvey had a deal with the KKK, but I never seen Garvey send out no people to do it, all that stuff Garvey was talking. I never seen them send out nobody to do nothing concerning the death of Malcolm's father, while they want to talk about what happened at LA Temple 57 back in when that's part of one of the times when Malcolm started getting into it with Elijah too. is he might want to go over there and blast some police. Basically, he want to go over there and say, well, hell, y'all gonna kill one of ours because they killed like 1 or 2 brothers at Temple 57. He said, we gonna go get some of you niggas. But it's like I tagged your husband in a post in 1934. There was a whole riot between the Muslims and the police in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And they killed police in that stuff in Detroit, beat them up real bad. You know what I'm saying? And hurt a lot of police. You know what I'm saying? So the nation, and then like on that Spike Lee movie, that part on there is true. You see how they went over there, bowled up on them police. But it's like I say, people got to take into consideration all the stuff that was going on at that time, like that Cold War stuff we've been on here talking about, and the type of ideologies that the NOI go along with that, and the type of ideologies that the Black Panther Party push go along with that. And then who became the chairman of the new Black Panther Party? And you know, like I say, I don't believe a lot of that crap. I believe that's some bull crap too. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like how that stuff went on between Farrakhan and Khalid, and how they put Khalid out like that. And there's probably some more stuff about that, so I'm not going to speak too much because I'm pretty sure they got stuff that they can enlighten me to on that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe Khalid did nothing wrong speaking like he did. But I got to say this too. The way Khalid was up there calling the Pope a no good cracker. He said the Jews are some bloodsuckers, and he wanted to kill all white people if they didn't leave South Africa immediately. He made a call to kill all of them. And that's what made Farrakhan get scared, get back from messing with him. And Khalid got shot by a dude that same day who was some type of agent provocateur type character. But Khalid went on to become the chairman of the new Black Panther Party. You see what happened to him. You think that was a natural death of a brain aneurysm? Hell nah, they poisoned him. Somebody poisoned him and got him killed to go ahead and knock him off, because the Black Panthers is another Marxist revolutionary group that is considered a Class A threat. And that same Marxist revolutionary stuff I'm talking about, that's the same stuff Castro subscribed to. Same ideologies subscribes to. And you see they try to get the mafia to go down there and kill. They try to get them to poison Castro, try to get the mafia to assassinate him somehow. You know what I'm saying? Try to use the mob to put a hit out on him. And that's the same thing that was saying too about that stuff with Malcolm up there in New York, that even though they sent that dude Talmadge Hayer and them, that they gave them dud bullets. And even when I've seen that picture, and even when you look at the picture, it does look, the bullets, it looks like the bullets came from, if they down and he up on a stage, and look how high them bullets are up there shooting him in the chest like that. And then these folks didn't have no they always got police around when Malcolm's talking. They didn't want no police, they didn't want no police around that day. They had a dance for some white kids later that night at that same damn ballroom. Hell, man, them folks been, man, I'm telling you, they play dirty. And you want to know what they say, now look at these niggas. They gonna sit back and they gonna be arguing for the next 30, 40 years about who killed Malcolm. And we gonna curb the NOI growth. And it's the same thing they did with the Black Panthers with Huey P. Newton. Even that man, Fred Hampton, they sent a hitman who was a Negro agent, had to do with Fred Hampton getting killed. And see, all that stuff, they caused a split between the fact they made the Black Panthers go into an East Coast, West Coast split, like some Tupac and Biggie stuff way back in the damn 60s. Just like they probably did kill Tupac too, because he had so many close affiliations to the Black Panther group, and he had so much powerful influence over the Crips and the Bloods on the West Coast. They felt like they had to kill him because he was too his rhetoric in the media was provocative. So I'm saying, so much stuff. But that's why I focus in on the Black Panthers and the NOI, because they was the number one people that they was really trying to get at that time back in the day. Them two groups right there they really had the government startled like that. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about the Nation of God too, I want to say, and I want to throw I want to throw the father up in there and give him some credit too, that I don't think a lot of people look at, but I'm going to shed some light on this. And I'm not going to say who exactly shot him, but what I know, I'm pretty damn sure, hell, this brother, the father, some people call him Clarence, whatever you want, so people understand what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, the 85% will understand what I'm saying when I say that. You know what I'm saying? This brother who basically founded the Nation of Gods and Earths, you know what I'm saying, Allah's father, you know what I'm saying, up there in Harlem, New York, that gave birth to, Rakim and the Wu-Tang Clan, and a lot of these influential rappers up there like that. You know, this brother was all the way up in this high building, and he was supposed to be coming out a damn elevator. And it's like this brother got shot 7 times by 3 unknown assailants, and they act like they can't figure out who they playing, like they can't figure out who killed him. And you know, them guns had to been loud going off like that in that high building way up there up top, and they couldn't figure out who killed him, because obviously, to me, what I think, and I'm pretty sure it's going in the right direction, is they used some Negro agents, once again, from around that area, just like with Malcolm, because that's how they blended in so good. Just like it say on that documentary with Malcolm, that's how they blended back in to the atmosphere, because they already lived around there. So they could shoot him up in that high building way there up there at the top and just slide on back. And people ain't gonna say, well, I seen this suspicious figure walking that wasn't from around this area, whoop-de-whoop-whoop, because them was people from around that area who killed him in the first place. Hell, they just used people from the inside. Same thing they did with the NOI, same strategy over again. They did the same thing with Garvey too. Same type of strategy with Garvey with that Black Star Line. I've had to watch it again, but that was one of J. Edgar Hoover's first takedown projects, was Marcus Garvey. That was one of J. Edgar Hoover's first projects, and then he turned his eyes to the Moorish Science Temple, and they used the same type of project with them. They used Noble Drew Ali's sheiks to take him down from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? And there's some people I read stuff and they say, well, he just came up dead in his apartment. I don't believe that. Somebody killed Noble Drew Ali just like they killed a couple of his sheiks. You know what I'm saying? And one of them sheiks that they killed was that brother Claude Green I was talking about. And Claude Green was he was a butler for that guy Julius Rosenwald, like I'm saying, and that's who was going against. That's who he tried to overthrow Unity Hall with Noble Drew Ali and tried to usurp the power up out of there, and it became a power struggle up in there. But all that was COINTELPRO generated events right there. And then that guy Julius Rosenwald, whatever whiff he caught of it, you best believe he worked with the FBI when they rolled up. He helped put Sears together, and I read up on his daughter. She a political Zionist. Hell, so you know, and that was right before the stock market crash. So you know them folks fixing to work with the police. That's them white folks when they call. The police come up there asking them white folks what happened. They seen what happened. They gonna tell you everything they seen. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure. You know, in a sense, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, and I'm gonna show you something else. And I mean, I could just go on. I mean, I might as well talk about it because I've been talking about everything else. I really don't. But man, it's it's going, man, like the NOI, it's the same thing with them. I mean, it's been the same thing with them too. Even Malcolm said it in his autobiography that all they phone calls and everything was getting tapped. And it's like they want to use that, why does Muhammad and any Muslim murder the devil? What's the regard in the four devils? They want to use that is like that. And like I say, whoever printed that in them newspapers back then was wrong. They should not have been printing that stuff. All they did was let them folks set them up. Y'all supposed to, the devil's not supposed to be, can the devil fool a Muslim? No, not nowadays. I can't tell. Hell, y'all printing that stuff up in them newspapers with the devil heads popping off of Malcolm. All they did was give them folks a reason and an opportunity. Because like what I was showing you about them Mason death oaths. I mean, they want to talk about that. Well, the Masons say the same damn type of stuff in all their degrees. Talking about killing folks to tell off their stuff and all that stuff. And the nation don't even talk per se like that. You know what I'm saying? In their lessons. You know, and that's why we feel like Jay wired that up too, was to shove off that type of, look at them niggas. And I'm a Mason, and I'm a patriotic citizen, and I'm a Freemason, and I'm a Shriner, and I'm here to protect the United States government, regardless of its dictators. Like he's saying that video. You know what I'm saying? Got it low. You know, put the Mason. I'm an upstanding Masonic U.S. citizen. I'm here to help these people. Well, you know, and all that. Look at these black people. Look at these colored Negroes. Look how they just out here killing each other. Look how they killed Malcolm. And Malcolm was an enemy to the government until he died. Now you folks want to go help schools set up. Malcolm X School, Malcolm X College, Malcolm X Elementary School, Malcolm X Memorial. And it's good. I respect it. But that's what they did. And that's why I'm saying that's what they was doing. That's how J. Edgar Hoover was. Some of the colored population might not like the FBI, but that's not for them to decide. Like I got a video where J. Edgar Hoover sitting there reading his paper, got his little, look at it, man. And then this man kissing on this little girl, Shirley Temple, all on her lips. Got her bent all over, holding her like this. This not his kid. Any woman like you, man, any woman uncomfortable with some strange dude that's just a acquaintance or a friend all up on their child, kissing their child all up in the mouth like that.
But Shirley Temple's mother, wait a minute, but Shirley Temple's mother wasn't even active. Shirley Temple's mother wasn't around. Don't forget, Shirley Temple's mother was inside of a psychiatric ward. Don't forget that. You know, she ain't had no daggone parents. She was sent off to somebody that she called her auntie, you know? So they was basically just selling her to them people, you know? So she didn't have her parents. That little white girl didn't have her parents to protect her. So, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that woman who she called her auntie knew all that stuff was going on.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Because I don't think that was her real auntie.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Huh? Yeah, I don't think that woman was her real auntie. You know, they was all involved with all that stuff. You know what I mean? They was all involved with it from day one, ever since Shirley Temple hit the scene up until she died. You know what I'm saying? They was all involved with that. So continue what you were saying, but she ain't had no protection. That was another child that was just given to the people for money. You know what I mean? And used and all kind of stuff.
And like I say, and you know, I'm not gonna just straight ride on Pharaoh like that. Excuse me. He has some of that stuff he be saying, he in the right about some of that stuff he be saying on certain aspects. But like I say, all that stuff we've been talking about right here, I disagree with what I gotta disagree with him. And like they get on there and talk about theosophy and Blavatsky for about 2-3 hours straight, and they don't actually read about the books. I've read this whole book. It's obvious. Look at all the notes I got. You know what I'm saying? I got pages where I got pages and pages marked off. So I'm not just like ignorantly, and like I say, I'm not taking up for them. I just utilize that information. It's just like what I say, because I know that where that stuff is coming from, black people, wherever they are dispersed on the globe, all them Europeans, like what G.M. James say, Greek philosophies are stolen Egypt, all that stuff they got. Okay, that's like that word theosophy is theos and sophia, two Greek words meaning God, wisdom. Greek philosophy is a stolen Egyptian philosophy, like G.M. James say. So when I go look at this, I do it just like G.M. James did it in that Stolen Legacy book. I scan through all that Greek stuff, and then I go back to these more indigenous sources, and I start connecting the dots back to Africa. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn. The lady's dead. You know what I'm saying? I'm not promoting no European or telling people to go become a member of the Theosophical Society, but some of this information, like I say, is still able to utilize, and it has relevance. You know what I'm saying? To what type of motivational forces drive these folks, you know, that are in these so-called deep state groups, because that type of stuff is what they believe in. You know what I'm saying? But it's our stuff, man. All this, the Masonic Lodge is nothing but a Europeanized, diluted, watered down form of the ancient Egyptian mysteries and other mystery schools in places like Asia and India and other places on the globe. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what I get up out of it. And like I say, that brother, like when he going to talking about and going in on some of them rappers, you know, and he be exposing stuff like that, and that stuff with the Jewish community, and it's and how it goes along with the Jewish community in hip hop, or the political Zionism in hip hop, and how they had a little influence in that. And then he right, you know, but like some of that's like that stuff I've been talking about, that's where I disagree with the brother, because it's a lot more deeper with that stuff with Malcolm, like him just being like that, man, like that's like he not, and it's like you want to attach Malcolm to what he want to attach Malcolm to what he's pushing, but then he got so much to say about Islam. You know what I'm saying? He has so much negativity to spew about Islam, and it's a lot of it is incorrect. Like I watched some of that stuff, like that stuff he was talking about with the Shriners and how it's connected. He's not talking about it right. It's not what he's saying is not right. And I'm not trying to be like that. And like, man, like, hey man, it is what it is. Like I see him and he talk about that Bible, Holy Quran being in the Masonic Lodge, and he's talking about that's for that they just use that to exercise mind control over the people, and that's a goddamn lie. That's not what they use that for, and that's not why that's there on that altar. And I'm not saying what I think and how I feel about things. Man, I just saying I got family who are Freemasons and stuff, and like that stuff is not what that means. It's more like what Elijah and them was saying. They was saying it right. And that's why I'm convinced about this stuff with J. Edgar Hoover and everything I've said in this video.
I agree with you.
Lead me to believe that from my own experiences. Like they was Elijah and Malcolm, and like I say, the lessons of the 120 that the Nation of Gods and Earth subscribe to are the adept master lessons that are Shriner degrees, and they're basically putting it out there, what the core elements come down to of Shriner, of the Shriner ideology. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that is. I mean,
well,
yeah.
well, all I'm gonna say is this, you know, when he does come on the show, you know what I mean? Just make sure you're there so y'all two can dialogue together. All perceive things differently. You know what I mean? So what you're saying, you know, what I agree with what you're saying, you know, because I also have family members that are Masons. I was actually raised by a Mason in the Eastern Star, my great grandparents. You understand what I'm saying? So I agree with what you're saying 100%, but we all interpret things differently. You know, just like them folks that read different religious books, they see it differently. You know what I mean? So maybe he's just looking at it in a different way, but you can definitely, you know, have that conversation with him when he's on the show, because I'll pull you on so y'all can, you know, exchange y'all words and be together on whatever is just putting out there that's incorrect and so forth. But today we got to cut this show. You know what I'm saying? Because we was on for almost 2 hours. We done gave the people so much information, whoever was listening. You know what I mean? Hopefully they can go back, and hopefully they will go back and just, you know, start it all from the beginning so they can get everything from the COVID-19 down to the esoteric sciences, down to what we talking about right now. You understand what I'm saying? And they can figure out everything that we talking about, do the research, do the knowledge, and then you'll come on again and we can continue talking, you know, when Fari up on here. So that's what we finna have to do. You know what I'm saying? It was great having you on today. Great. Because, you know, now I'm able to really hear what you have to say about, you know, about what you have to say about the sciences and what's been going on over the years and so forth through your knowledge and your studies and so forth. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that have been watching that had no clue about what they're talking about. You know what I mean? They had no clue either about what I was telling them about, you know, and whoever was watching yesterday had no clue about what Patah was about until they watch. So that's the basis of the show. We're going to give y'all the scoop on whatever is that is happening before and what's happening right now. You know, we're going to give you the scoop. Well, there'll also be some entertainment involved, but today was all about that education and giving y'all that all about the re-education from the miseducation that we've been, you know, given over the years and so forth. So I'm glad that y'all tuned in, and we've had a lot of feedback. Make sure you go back, Seven, and look at all these comments. You know, look at all the comments and so forth, because there's been a lot of feedback. Go on YouTube, check it out. I think some of these comments are coming from Facebook or whatever. But get up on there, look at what everyone's saying and everything, you know, and we'll have you back on. All and right. Build from there. Definitely build from there. But this was a great show that lasted approximately 2 hours. 2 hours long. You feel me? Yesterday was 1 hour and 45 minutes. So it was great having you on. Tell them where to find you at.
Oh yeah, I'm on 7 Shabazz TV public page on Facebook, and then I'm on YouTube, 7 Shabazz TV on YouTube. And I'm fixing to get on Instagram pretty soon. I'm out there. I'm getting my funds together right now because I'm fitting to get and get my little stuff more right, my studio and everything, and give me some more media to work off of. Give me another better phone to go along with this one I got right here, and I'm gonna get on Instagram and some other stuff and do some more videos elaborating on what I'm talking about.
Yes, please do that. And if you need to come onto my platform, let me know. You get what I'm saying? Because I have a pretty good reach in different directions and different areas. So just let me know if you need to come on. Just hit me up, because you know you're free to come up on here. And I want to say, you know, since everyone is watching, thank you all who have donated to my businesses over the last 2 days. Y'all started donating without me even asking for a donation, you know, and all that, them funds that y'all sent in, I did go out and buy another headset. I do have, you know, a mic. I am investing in, you know, other forth I need for the company. And I also am going to be using those funds to keep up with the platform, because I have to pay for this platform. You know what I mean? So thank you all for those donations. And if you do feel like donating, it is Cash App, the Scoop of Fari X, or Cash App, I am Fari X. I have 2 Cash Apps. You can donate to either one, you know, but most of the people have been donating to I am Fari X, $ I am Fari X. So yes, thank you all. I appreciate it. That lets me know that you all do like my show, and that you all do actually like the services that I offer for y'all with my coaching services and so forth, and my products. I have people that donated for my products like this. I don't know if y'all seen this, but this is my melanin glow products. You know, I create body butters, healing oils, all the other good stuff. And people have been donating out of nowhere without me even asking. And I'm like so appreciative over that. So I love all y'all. We love all y'all for even tuning in. And Seven Shabazz will be back on here again. And like he said, you all can find him on Seven Shabazz TV on YouTube and on Facebook. And he will be creating Instagram soon, and he will be on again. So we'll talk to y'all soon. It was great having y'all. Peace.
Peace.
It's the scoop with Fari X. Go off.